So Identity Manager, I would say the most valuable feature is provisioning, where we are able to provide users access to all the resources they need in a uniform way that we can audit, and we don't need to spend a month going to every individual server, every individual database, granting user access. We can do it from one central place. For SiteMinder is the ability to bring applications under its protection very quickly, and ability to partner with other companies through Federation and SAML, and using open standards to do authentication. We are able to partner with other vendors much more quickly now, because before we had to do our homegrown authentication things, and they had to adapt to our non-standard way of doing things, and now we have open standards. We publish a document to them with our SAML configuration, the tokens we're going to be sending them, and they code to it, and we get on board very, very quickly. Not yet, but we're definitely looking into doing so in the future. Well, for one, you don't have to remember 1,000 passwords, right? You just remember one, you go to a dashboard, and then you'll be given access to the environments you need. Two, there is more security because the passwords that it generates are very, very large. They change very often. So it's not something that can easily be guessed, and your infrastructure is more protected this way. They seem very, very stable. Ever since we put them in place, we didn't have to do much in terms of bug fixes. They just work out of the gate. A few outages with Identity Miner, but part of the reason we had that is because we currently have it deployed on a single server, so there is no failover. Even though the tool supports it, we have not configured it this way yet. We didn't have to face any scalability challenges yet, because we only use it for our members, which are about 40,000 accounts, which is nothing for a tool of that size. So we haven't had any issues, but we haven't had much load. And we are looking at another tool from CA, Advanced Authentication, for our guest site, which is then millions of users. And so far we're still in QA, but it seems that it will scale just fine. They've been very good to us, but we also partnered with Simio, which is a preferred partner for them. And they have been working very, very closely with us. They have been very responsive in communication. And they have developed patches for us whenever we needed them. It was straightforward on the SiteMinder side. On the Identity Manager side, it was a little more complex because we had to maintain some legacy items. We have some authorization settings stored in databases that we need to hook Identity Manager to and have them manage those. So we had to create some custom code to do that, but it wasn't too difficult. Something that would help us migrate our code between environments from QA to UAT to production in an easier way, that would probably be the big one. I would give SiteMinder a 10 and Identity Manager a 9. We rely on word of mouth. We try to see if anybody has experience working with this vendor. We're looking not just for a vendor, but for a partner. We're looking for somebody who can be open, who can truly collaborate with us, where we can exchange information freely and have both parties benefit. We really do not like having this vendor relationship where you throw something over the fence and you have this contract that tries to encompass everything. We want to have somebody that, even though our contract is limited to something, if it's something that either party is obviously responsible for, we can do it, and we don't argue over little things. We used a very old Oracle SSO, Oracle OID, and Oracle IDAS, all of which were unsupported by the time we went to upgrade. I would say go for it, you won't regret it. I think they're very good products, very mature products. SiteMinder is synonymous with single sign-on. Identity Manager, it's a great tool. I cannot say anything about Privileged Identity Manager yet, but from what I've seen so far, it looks amazing.